first to the second page, it's like sudden. From like D major to C major. It's so weird.
Yeah. Shit. Sorry, that was loud. Oh my god. my friends be like, oh, I can't see you as well.
Do they not walk up?
What?
Like, do they not walk up? I feel like they must walk up and get their
That's good too.
their little.
Yeah. So like,
Here,
yeah,
though.
yeah. I think they walk up and around.
What is
Just
that?
sit in the audience. You can't.
You're gonna pass it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean,
Ladies and gentlemen, Spring Convocation 2018 will officially begin with the procession of the Platform Party and faculty members. The procession will be introduced by the Conservatory String Quintet, including Mr. Edward Choi performing Century. Please remain seated. Please rise for the graduand procession and remain standing until the end of the national anthem. please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem, performed by Ms. Stefania Romaniuk.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our distinguished guests, faculty, family, and friends, and most particular, the graduates. My name is Susan Mallon, and I am the chair at Mount Royal University's Board of Governors. It is a privilege and a personal honor for me today to be your Master of Ceremonies as we celebrate our graduating students and share this important day with family, friends, and fellow students. I would like to acknowledge that Mount Royal University is located in the traditional territories of the Niitsitapi, Blackfoot, and the people of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta, which includes the Siksika, the Piikani, the Kainai, the Tsuut'ina, and the Yahe Nakota. We are situated on land where the Bow River meets the Elbow River, and the traditional Blackfoot name for this place was Mohkinstsis, which we now call the City of Calgary. The City of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation. Some of you may have noticed as we hyped in the graduates that the president of Mount Royal University, Dr. David Docherty, chooses to honor the graduates by himself leading the pipers in the bagpipe salute. This is his way of paying homage to the time and the effort that you've spent at this university. So thank you, President Docherty, to the pipers and to the drummer. Thank you also to our national anthem singer, Ms. Stefania Romaniuk. And finally, thank you to the Conservatory String Quintet, including pianist Mr. Edward Choi. We're privileged at Mount Royal to have a conservatory, so we have our own musicians play at celebrations such as this. The quintet played a piece called Century, and that piece was written by a Mount Royal Conservatory faculty member, Mr. John Abram. So thank you to the quintet and to John Abram. I'd like to take this moment to remind you to please silence all your electronic devices. Certainly have them out for pictures, but just keep the beeping and tooting to a minimum. We have many people on the platform today to honor you. And one of the things that is important to note as I read out the many names of faculty and members of the university community and others on the platform is that not one of these people does anything here except for leading up to this day. Absolutely everything we do as volunteers, faculty, staff, or any member of the university community does what they do to see today happen for you folks. So we are honored to be part of this crowning achievement. We have Dr. David Docherty, President of Mount Royal University, Dr. Leslie Brown, Provost and Vice President Academic, Dr. Jim Zimmer, Vice Provost and Associate Vice President Teaching and Learning, Mr. Phil Warsaba, Secretary of the General Faculties Council, Mr. Mark Schrader, President of the Mount Royal Faculty Association, Mr. Bassett Zarug, President of the Mount Royal Staff Association, Mr. Andrew Nguyen, President of the Students Association of Mount Royal University. We also have representatives from Mount Royal's Vice Presidents, Mount Royal University's Associate Vice Presidents of Academic Affairs, Deans, Associate Deans, Assistant Deans, and Academic Directors of Mount Royal's faculties, institutes, and centers. We have members of Mount Royal University's Board of Governors. We have honorary degree recipient Brett Hart. We have Professor Emerita Dr. Katja Hohen. We have Elder Clarence Wolfleg Sr., Valedictorian Ryan Cunningham, Mr. Kent Hare, MP for Calgary Centre, and Dr. Paula Burns, President and CEO of Lethbridge College. Please welcome our platform party and the faculty members on stage today. I would now like to introduce Clarence Wolflake Sr., or as we know him here at Mount Royal, Elder McSeacom, who will open this convocation. On campus, he serves as an elder, a spiritual advisor, and he recently received an honorary Bachelor of Arts Sociology from Mount Royal. Elder McSeacom gave an honor song to the university and bestowed our president, Dr. David Docherty, with a Blackfoot name and a headdress. This afternoon, when David delivers his president's address, he will wear this headdress. Elder McSeacom, would you please join me at the podium?
Thank you. Okay, Nixokwa. Like I said in the 3 March Johns, we don't have a word for goodbye in the Blackfoot language. We just say, okay, Nixokwa means welcome, my relatives. Our spirit has to continue that journey into the spirit world. That's why we do not say goodbye. I wanted to honor the previous 3 groups that come and yourselves. I am going to honor you with my personal praise warrior song. This is a song that was given to me as a spiritual leader in case I want to use it to honor people, my children like you. As a spiritual leader, you are my children. And with that, I am going to use my traditional warrior praise song. This is a song you sing going into battle and coming from the battlefield. I was a soldier for 7.5 years. In many countries, I peacekeeped in the early 60s. So for my safe return, I pass on the good fortune to all of you that are going to meet many battles, but you will have victories like I did. With that, I will sing my final blessing for all of you, and the parents, and the faculty, and everybody that's here. Hey, 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 hey,
Thank you, Elder McSeacom. This year is the largest convocation class that Mount Royal has ever had, so you can count yourselves among a very special group of graduates. What a wonderful celebration for you and for us to meet this milestone. On behalf of Mount Royal University, thank you very much for choosing our university to seek your post-secondary education. You invested greatly in your education, and it is our hope and prayer for you that your many experiences here will open up worlds of possibility to you in the future. Thank you also to the parents, family, friends, and all those who supported you on your journey. As we all know, accomplishments like today are not accomplished by one person alone, but it takes a team of supporters and well-wishers behind us. So thank you all for supporting your students, our graduates, in their journey. I would now like to invite Dr. Leslie Brown, Provost and Vice President Academic, to introduce our newest Professor Emerita and the 4th Spring 2018 Honorary Degree recipient.
Madam Board Chair, it is now my pleasure to recognize Mount Royal's newest Professor Emerita. This designation acknowledges faculty members for their significant contributions during their long-term association with Mount Royal University. I am pleased to announce the Board of Governors, upon the recommendation of the General Faculties Council, has selected Dr. Katja Hohen as a Professor Emerita. Dr. Hohen joined Mount Royal's Department of Biology in 1994. She was part of the team that created the Bachelor of Science Health Science major, and more recently, the major in biology. Katja is excellent at showing faculty how teaching techniques can help students better understand anatomy and physiology concepts and bring theory to practice. Her scholarship focuses on developing scientifically accurate yet accessible learning tools. Katja is an invaluable resource to Mount Royal and will continue to enhance the reputation of the university as a Professor Emerita. Katja, will you please come forward? Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to present an honorary degree in recognition of an individual's outstanding achievement in the academic, private, or public sector. Like much university protocol, honorary degrees date back to the Middle Ages and are often accompanied by the Latin words honoris causa, literally meaning for honorific reasons. I am pleased to announce Mount Royal University's Board of Governors, on the recommendation of the General Faculties Council, is bestowing an honorary Bachelor of Health and Physical Education, Physical Literacy on Mr. Bret Hart, in honor of his long-standing affinity with Mount Royal University and exemplary leadership in Calgary, Alberta, across the country, and around the world. Bret Hart is nothing less than a global icon. While he is known as the most technically proficient pro wrestler ever, he is also multi-talented. Bret appeared in many films and television shows, and for a decade, he wrote a column for the Calgary Sun, and his autobiography was a bestseller. Bret recently did the artwork on the Hitman beer case for Village Brewery, and as a philanthropist, he supports the Terry Fox Foundation, the Calgary Prostate Center, the March of Dimes Stroke Recovery Program, and Resolve. And right here at Mount Royal, he was a collegiate amateur wrestling champion in 1977 while he was enrolled as a student. With this introduction, Mount Royal University is proud to present Mr. Brett Hart with this honorary Bachelor of Health and Physical Education, Physical Literacy. I would like to invite him forward to the podium where the Chair of the Board of Governors, Ms. Susan Mallon, will officially confer the honorary degree, assisted by the Secretary of the General Faculties Council, Mr. Phil Warsaba. Nope. Ladies and gentlemen, by the power vested in me by the General Faculties Council and approved by the Mount Royal University Board of Governors, I present Mount Royal University's honorary degree recipients. The excellence of execution, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, Brett, the Hitman Hart.
Thank you very much. The first thing I want to say is how grateful I am for this incredible honor of the Bachelor of Health and Physical Education, Physical Literacy, being given to me by the Board of Governors and the Selection Committee. I know I've only got 5 minutes, and I'll do my best to be as concise as possible. Whenever I come back to Mount Royal, it immediately takes me back to a much different time. I was 20 years old, ready to stake my claim somewhere in this world, and unlike all my older brothers, I had absolutely no desire to follow any of them into the family business, pro wrestling. I was artistic, creative, with a vivid imagination. Pro wrestling was not my dream. I had dreamed about going to college and earning a film degree and eventually making great movies. At the time, I'd been high school, city, and provincial wrestling champion, and my father hoped I would make a strong push to wrestle in the 1980 Commonwealth Games or maybe even the Olympics, a dream he left behind forever because of the war. I was at a major crossroads in my life, desperately trying to find my path. But when you don't know what you want, you often end up where you don't want to be. As badly as I wanted to succeed and earn my degree, I had foolishly picked all the wrong classes, got overwhelmed, lost focus, and began running out of money. And I tripped right out of the starting gate. Perhaps if I'd been more prepared, been more focused, had saved more money, things might have been different today. Academically, it wasn't to my benefit when in my first week, Tim Wenzel, the wrestling coach, found me and practically begged me to join the wrestling team with only 3 weeks left in the season. In the short time I was here at Mount Royal, my only true accomplishment was somehow miraculously winning the 77 College Wrestling Championship in the 191-pound weight class after a 2-year layoff. Destiny, I can only wonder. Oddly enough, back in '77, I took a police science class where I learned self-defense, takedowns, and throws. Basically, it was a pro wrestling class. Maybe in a weird way, my true passion was calling me. My mom always used to say, after you failed at everything, you could always become a pro wrestler. In truth, I knew sadly that I had failed myself. So after only 1 semester, while working my summer job at the Queen's Park Cemetery, sweeping leaves off of the tombstones, I made my decision to put college and my movie making on hold and give pro wrestling a try. You may think that's an easy enough decision to make. In fact, when I look back, I wonder what the hell I was thinking. Flaubert once said, "Be regular and ordinary in your daily life so you can be violent and original in your work." I fell into the open arms of professional wrestling. I promised myself that I'd only do it for about 5 years. I would have saved up more money and I could come back for my film degree. 5 years turned into 23 years, 23 long, hard years, and the rest is history. I always regretted what might have been, yet I loved what I accomplished as a young man in the rugged profession of wrestling. I was young, naive, even stupid, but I didn't intend to stay that way. Throughout my career, I always carried a book, many books, about anything and everything. In my world travels, I became much more aware and wiser. When I look back at my matches, I realize I got to make my movies, to tell my unbelievable stories, action-packed with twists and turns. No animals were harmed in the making of any of my movies. In closing, I simply want to say that both my parents would be so proud of me right now, and I can feel them smiling down on me. My dad always used to say, "Where the head goes, the body follows." I think he was referring to wrestling, but I think it's about life in general. I owe everything to my parents. I was lucky to grow up in a house of love, laughter, and the occasional scream from the basement. Family is the essential presence, the thing that never leaves you, even if you find you have to leave it. In many ways, I graduated long ago from the finest school, the infamous Hart House. To the graduates of Mount Royal University 2018, you will discover that life is based less than you think on what you've learned, and much more than you think on what you have inside you from the very beginning. The best chance you have if you want to rise to the top is to give yourself up to loneliness, fear nothing, and work hard. One grows not only according to the pace of one's intellect, but in the cultivation of one's heart and soul. In the meantime, soar, eat ether, see what's never been seen, defy expectations, depart, be lost, but always climb. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett, for those words of life wisdom. It is now my pleasure to invite Mount Royal University President David Docherty to the podium for the President's address.
Thank you, Susan. Brett, you're a very hard act to follow. Thank you for those inspiring and thoughtful, thought-provoking words. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Board of Governors, faculty, community partners, staff, and special guests. Most of all, welcome to our graduating students. For 2 hours, we're going to celebrate your achievements, so let's revel in that moment. I want to take a moment and make note of the wide variety of colors that you see in the platform before you and behind me. You'll notice that many of you have different colored hoods on, depending on what your degree is. Likewise, you'll see on this stage many different colored robes reflecting the universities that many of us did our PhDs at. The robes, of course, tie back to the religious institution, or the relations between universities and religious institutions. But depending upon the variety of degrees and all the different educational institutions attended, you'll see just a rainbow of colors. For example, our Provost and Vice President Academic, Dr. Leslie Brown, wears regalia in olive green and burnt red with a beefeater hat to represent her PhD in kinesiology at the University of Waterloo. Dr. Todd Nickel Actually, are there 2 Oklahoma States here? No. Dr. Todd Nickel has a PhD in botany from Oklahoma State University. In American academic dress, the hood is the most distinct feature, varying by color, design, and length. Dr. Elizabeth Evans, Dean of the Faculty of Business and Communication Studies, wears the more muted colors of gray and sage green, in keeping with her PhD in marketing from the University of Stirling in Scotland. Dr. Jonathan Withy, Dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology, wears a scarlet robe with bell-shaped sleeves, including facings and sleeves of blue silk. His scarlet hood is the full Oxford shape to represent his Doctor of Philosophy from the University of Oxford. The absence of a cap or a hat, like Dr. Evans and Dr. Withy, differentiate the newer universities from the ancient universities in Scotland. Dr. Paula Burns, who is our guest, the president of Lethbridge College, I'm wearing my presidential robes from Mount Royal, but had I been wearing my own robes from my school, I'd look an awful lot like Paula Burns with the red and white stripes from the University of Toronto. So I ask you, graduates, to honor your gowns, honor your hoods, because they represent the significant achievement that you've accomplished coming to Mount Royal and spending time with us and learning. Convocation is my favorite time in the academic calendar because it's both a capstone and a portal to a new chapter. When you arrived at Mount Royal, you were nervous, excited, and ready for a roller coaster of emotions and experiences. As you leave today, ready to embrace the next chapter, you are once again nervous, excited, and ready for a roller coaster of emotions and experiences. In the words of Kurt Vonnegut, and so it goes. But before you move on, think about how you've changed. What took place during your MRU experience to better equip you for the future? I'd like to think that there were many things and that the entire MRU community played a role in preparing you not just for the next chapter, but also for adventures you cannot even fathom at the moment. First, when you came here, you recognized and embraced your newfound independence. You quickly recognized the significant difference between university and high school. No one was going to call home if you missed a few classes. No one was going to remind you about late assignments. You were responsible for yourself. Having said that, you also became acutely aware that there were people to support you throughout your university experience. Mom, dad, siblings, partners, and friends, and maybe even your children who picked you up when you were down. Many of them are here today to cheer you on and celebrate your achievements. Graduates, today is all about you. It is all about celebrating your success. So let's take 10 seconds, stand up, point to the ones that are in the crowd before you, in the stands, and tell them how much you love them and appreciate them, and give them a huge round of applause. Come on, up you get. Let's go. Yeah, yeah. Your independence. You learned your independence with important support from loved ones was life lesson number 1. The second thing you learned was how to be intellectually curious. When our amazing faculty challenged your thinking, you rose to the occasion. You did this in your research projects, community service learning, field trips, and group work. You learned lessons you will draw on for the rest of your lives. The essence of lifelong learning is to apply solutions to new problems, often that have nothing to do with the relation to the original task, and always be open to different possibilities. All of us here, faculty, staff, managers, embraced your journey. We were there to help, to support, and to boost you to the finish line. We are fortunate to have such incredible faculty at Mount Royal, and as you can see from the robes, coming from all across the world. We are fortunate to have great staff and managers here. Graduates, once again, just take a moment to thank the amazing individuals at Mount Royal for all they have done to help you on your journey. Thank you. So what now? Today you will leave here for a new adventure. Mount Royal University has the rare designation of being a changemaker campus from Ashoka University. This means we embrace change as a way to address local and global social and environmental challenges. The name I was generously gifted by Elder McSeacom, Mokina, and the headdress I proudly wear today commit me to be a leader in the community, to accept the responsibility to create a more positive future. I hope each of you too will accept this responsibility and embrace change as a way not only to improve yourself, but to improve the community. As I mentioned earlier, Convocation is all about you, so revel in it. While in an hour or so we may say goodbye to you as students, you will join more than 100,000 Mount Royal alumni in 40 countries around the world, with nearly 80,000 right here in Calgary. When you cross the stage, you will receive an alumni pin. When you exit the gym, you will be greeted by the Office of Alumni Relations and distinguished alumni on the upstairs concourse. So this is not goodbye, just see you soon. Please visit the campus often, mentor students, take a night class, watch a Cougars game, or enjoy a performance at the Bella Concert Hall. So on behalf of everybody at Mount Royal University, I wish each one of you a successful and rewarding journey in life. Let's have a lot of fun when you cross the stage. It's a fun event. It's a great time to celebrate all of your accomplishments. Thank you very much. Congratulations to the class of 2018.
Thank you, President Doherty. In just a few moments, we will present Mount Royal University's Spring 2018 graduates. Guests are welcome to take pictures freely, but we do ask that you stay in your seats. We will have a professional photographer at the front who will take a picture of each graduate, and that each graduate will get a complimentary copy of their photo. The complimentary copies are courtesy of the Alumni Relations. Feel free, as Dr. Doherty said, to celebrate gustily. This is the one opportunity to really cheer for a job well done. It is now my privilege to invite Mr. Phil Warsaba, Secretary of the General Faculties Council, to the podium to officially present Mount Royal University's spring graduates.
Mr. President, members of the Board of Governors, faculty, graduates, and of course our guests, on behalf of Mount Royal University's General Faculties Council, I hereby declare that the candidates whose names appear in today's program, whether they be present or absent, have satisfied the requirements for their respective degrees, diplomas, or certificates. I would now like to call upon our first reader, Dr. Elizabeth Evans, to present our graduates from the School of Communication Studies.
We now present the graduates of the Faculty of Business and Communication Studies at Mount Royal University, presenting the graduates of the Broadcasting Diploma. Aaron Reese Howell. Cassandra Mackenzie Patterson. Presenting the graduates of the Theater Arts Diploma Technical. Matthew John Monnier. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Communication, Information Design. Summer Abdallah. Rachel O'Shower. Denise Boudreau. Carmen Juliana Branch. Kina Danica Shazkina. Congratulations. Connor Blair Christie. Congratulations. Phoebe Davis. Congratulations. Jing Dong. Congratulations. All the best. Shannon Kimberly Eastick. James E. Reiser. Congratulations. Benjamin Paris French. Piper Goodfellow. Anastasia Gido. Anya Jurison. Congratulations. Shay Delaney March. Danielle Jessica Massia. Dana Marie Nielsen. Callum Ian Oliphant. Congratulations, Callum. All the best. Penna? Christelle Ann and Penna. Congratulations. Presbytera? Travis Pablo Presbytera. Colin Lang Pruden. Congratulations. All the best. Justina Qualitza. Lucy Victoria Randall. Congratulations. All the best. Christopher M. Rice. Brett Richard James Robertshaw. All right.
Thank you.
Tristan Brienne Steves. Congratulations. Lynn Ann Turnbull. Emma Young. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Communication Journalism. Sarah L. Allen. Congratulations, Sarah. Malak Amshi. Congratulations. All the best. Nora Cruikshank. Congratulations. Justina Deerdoff. Congratulations. Dorozo? Yeah. Jennifer Dorozo. Congratulations. There's the tear.
Hopefully an easy one for you.
Brady Taylor Grove. Congratulations, Brady. Hello. Thank you. Sarah Catherine Herrower. Congratulations, Sarah. We'll just wait a second. Congratulations. Courtney Ingram. Mackenzie Jakewish. Congratulations, Loretta Claire John. Oh, nice hat. Anger Youngker. Sarah Shirley Kirk. Abby LaRock. Time out. Jan Kirsten Lopez. Congratulations, Jan. All the best. Ashley Materi. Congratulations, Ashley. All the best. Paul McAleer. Kate Payton. Logan Haley Peters. Michaela Ina Ritchie. Congratulations. Danielle Alejandro Huerter. Jolene Rudeshella. Tyler Joseph Ryan. Britannia Shushasky. Did I come close? Huh?
You were close.
Okay, congratulations. Amy M. Simpson. Congratulations. Cassandra Lynn Telford. Congratulations. Emily Laura Thwaites. Congratulations. All the best. Brandon William Tucker. Congratulations. Natalie Vallow. Hannah Willinger. Congratulations, Hannah. Angela Catherine Wither. Lexi Marie Wright. Congratulations. Karina Yaseko. Congratulations, Karina. All the best.
Thank you.
All right. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Communication, Public Relations. Nathan Frederick Frey. Congratulations. Emily Cattell. Lauren Rucktershell. Alexandra Smiznik. Congratulations. This concludes the graduates of the Faculty of Business and Communication Studies at Mount Royal University. Congratulations to all of our graduates from the School of Communication. It is my pleasure to introduce the Acting Dean of Continuing Education and Extension, Dr. Brad Mahans.
We now present the graduates of the Faculty of Continuing Education and Extension at Mount Royal University. Presenting the graduates of the Funeral Director Certificate. Eileen Claire Corin.
Thank you.
Presenting the graduates of the Funeral Service Diploma. Olivia Margaret Howe. Heather Martin. Peter Netherton. Sherry Pierce. Tina Louise Pearson. This concludes the graduates of the Faculty of Continuing Education and Extension at Mount Royal University. It is my pleasure to introduce the Dean of the Faculty of Health, Community and Education, Dr. Stephen Price.
We now present the graduates from the Faculty of Health, Community and Education at Mount Royal University. Presenting first the graduates of the Advanced Certificate in Athletic Therapy. Michelle Godet. Jennifer Akemi Kidd. Carly Kolesnik. Benjamin Lau. Emily Malone. Ryan Otsuka. Now presenting the graduates of the Applied Business and Entrepreneurship, Sport and Recreation. Jacqueline Goy. Christopher Thomas Elliott Herdman. Congratulations. Thank you. Now presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Applied Ecotourism and Outdoor Leadership. Brian Chow. Now presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Health and Physical Education, Athletic Therapy, the first ever graduates of the 4-year degree. And I'm going to say Benson Cho. Benson Cho. Megan Chow. Amanda Hillman. Sandra Levinskas. Congratulations, Ali Lowe. Courtney Owen. Jordan Parkin. Jessica Sebastian. Congratulations. Moira Taylor. Congratulations. Moira Taylor. Congratulations. Aaron Tippy. Katrina Van Ways. Now presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Health and Physical Education, Ecotourism and Outdoor Leadership. Kristen Bloom. Congratulations. Jennifer Elaschuk. Congratulations. Sean Henderson. Gabrielle Wiltsey. Now presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Health and Physical Education, Physical Literacy. Mitchell Ast. Wendy Bastos. Teresa King Chung. Andrew Coles. Congratulations, Alana Coot. I say it right? Alana Coot. Congratulations. Ryan Cunningham. Alex Donahue. I can't even read it right. Alex Donaghy. Congratulations, Jordan Finney. Finney, yeah. You want the lead? No. Jordan Finney. Congratulations. Patrick Goodwin. Yes, sir. All right. Patrick Goodwin. Jan Graza. Let me shake your hand. Congratulations. Jan Graza. Congratulations. Thank you. Jonas Halen. Jonas Halen. Congratulations. Chelsea Harney. Chelsea Harney. Congratulations. Christine Gabrielle Hortz. Christine Gabrielle Hortz. Kelsey Hofstetter. Congratulations. Matt Howitt. Matt Howitt. Congratulations. Kirsten Brielle Kerwer. Congratulations, Calvin. Calvin Law. Calvin Law. Congratulations. Mark LeBaron. Yep. Mark LeBaron. Congratulations. Thanks. Thomas Edwin Lucatus. Thomas Edwin Lucatus. Congratulations. Dayton McDonald. Zach McDonald? Sure. Which one do you want? Doesn't matter. Pick one. Dayton Zach McDonald.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Freddie Makuza?
Yes.
Freddie Makuza. Evan McKinley. Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you. Evan McKinley. Congratulations. How are you? Cora Michael. Congratulations. Chase Mindra. Jacqueline Monroe. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jacqueline Monroe. Thank you. Julie Ing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Julie Ing. Jimmy Nugent. I'm sorry? Jimmy Nguyen. Congratulations. J.C. Pierce. Congratulations. Grant Peters. Grant Peters. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jenna Polson. Jenna Polson. Congratulations.
You got it.
Sarah Powell. Congratulations. Jennifer Powers. Yeah. Marie?
Sure.
Jennifer Marie Powers. Congratulations. Dana Catherine Pryor. Dana Catherine Pryor. Congratulations. Bianca Pye.
Yeah.
Go, Diana.
No.
Bianca Pye. Congratulations. Andrew Rados. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Jared Reinhardt.
That's me.
Jared Reinhardt. Congratulations. Thomas Sekarak.
Yeah.
Thomas Sekarak. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Alex Shaligan. Congratulations. Nico Sumera. Congratulations. Ready to do this? Yeah. Megan Trebelko. Yeah. Megan Trebelko. Churhu, sorry. I apologize in advance. Churho Bernie C. Madison Yukis. Congratulations. Madison Yukis. Brian Yee. Yeah. All right. Brian Yee. Congratulations. Thank you. Tyler Young. Tyler Young.
I got one for you.
All right. So I'm reading this first. Okay. Now presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Health and Physical Education, Sport and Recreation Management.
Bartasek, yeah.
Jordan Bartasek. Congratulations. Devin Dombrowskis.
Yeah, perfect.
Devin Dombrowskis. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Brandon DeProse.
DeProse, yeah.
Brandon DeProse. Congratulations. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm well. Ray or Raymond?
Ray, it's good, Ray.
Ray Goff. Ray Goff. Mitchell Hannon.
Yeah.
Mitchell Hannon. Evan Alexander Ho. Congratulations. Caitlin Kruger. Congratulations. Good to see you. Victor Leung. Congratulations. Christopher Payne.
Got it.
All right. I need that affirmation. Christopher Payne. Shea Robert Pope. Shea Robert Prue. Congratulations. Shea Robert Prue. Congratulations. Jackson Sinclair.
Yes, sir.
All right. Jackson Sinclair.
Jackson.
Congratulations. Sterling Smith. Arthur?
Yeah.
Well done?
Sure, yeah.
Sterling Arthur Smith. Congratulations. Jolene Sturman. Jolene Sturman. Congratulations. Jenny Steiner. Jenny Steiner. Congratulations. You bet. Carson Douglas Taylor. Robert Arthur Chinkowski. Jessica Yu. This concludes the graduates from the Faculty of Health, Community, and Education at Mount Royal University. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce the Dean for the Faculty of Science and Technology, Dr. Jonathan Withey.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's lovely to be here. We now present the graduates of the Faculty of Science and Technology at Mount Royal University, presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Computer Information Systems, Famida Ahmoud. Abdullah Al-Hassari. Michael Valin Babb. Tyler Fitzgerald Dixon. Mansour Furuzan Jr. Matthew John Grunewald. David Han. Jamili Hijazi. Thomas Anthony Huckle. Garrett Kenneth James Irwin. Abdulrahman Ismail. Calvin Leyland Jernberg. Mark Anthony Jakuna Ladowing. Petar Lanizitsa. Chow Yu Lei. Kevin Ralph Lewis. Alexander George McCready. Mina Youssef Mikhail. Renato Rafaela Nero. Louis Pioquinto. Juliana Reese. Sebastian Richters. Kim Carlo Santoyo. Tai Huang Tang. Marina Vu. Nicole Alexandra Waldron. Courtney Lauren Wilson. Robert Walt Yu. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Computer Information Systems Cooperative Education, Amandeep Kaur Dillon. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Science, Cellular and Molecular Biology, Alyssa May Clark. Lauren Gordon. Kimberly Marie Kaminsky. Brian Mark Lozinski. Emily Jean McDonnell. Brian Andrew Marriott. Andrew Roy Michael. Kyle Lawrence Poffenroth. Jonathan Thomas Antonio Roveredo. Brittany Ann Steer. Matea Elizabeth Van Heist. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Science, Environmental Science, Sade Lily Clark. Alex Coombs. Jesse Diaz. Jesse Elcom. Darla Mae Frank. Tina McLean. Troy Joseph Maiden. Nisha Olivia Panasar. Phoenix Prince. Angie Felicia Rice. Edward Seleznov. Caitlin Joan Sexton. Devon Robert Versnick Brown. Devon will also graduate with the Bachelor of Science, General Science. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Science, General Science, Mariam Hussein Akbar. Sabah Ali. Asil Al-Omar. Faiza Ashraf. Asan Ayub. Tara Kathleen Bennett. Jane Marie Capote. Riza May Katapang. Carly Sarah Clark. Casey Wayne Davis. Amritpal Dillon. Agail Ding. Bailey Ann Duncan. Hussein Eshmail. Jewel Cleo Gapasin. Jennifer Garcia Caro. Ravneet Kaur Gill. Mackenzie Ray Godfrey. Farah Hanouf. With a very special guest, Jordan Dane Hofmeister, +1. Stella Shea. Omar Mohammed Jeha. Hardeep Singh Kalkat. Amna Khalid Khan. Nayab Khan. Permeet Kaur. Colby Kwok. Daniel Richard Lacasse. Haley Chanel Lefebvre. Marie Justine Lee. Pal Chol Lual. Carolyn Lee. Justine McDonald. Brianne Marwa. Alicia Maria McIsaac. Mariam Munir. Lydia Galamulame. Crystal Ashley Nikor. Sharon Ruby Nija. Crystal Ann Ostrovsky. Julia Panares. Jason David Pantigoso. Karishma Ramat. Benny Rana. Saja Majid Saeed. Ricardo Andres Sanchez. Cayman Kaur Sandhu. Vijayta Sharma. Nicholas Sinaway Skaken. Sarah Elizabeth Skaken. Erica Lee Smith. Alice Straub. Joshua James Stricker. Lorenz Talion. Tony J. Vandenbrink. Han Wen. Melissa Wu. Parvane Ziareb. Travis Zeal. Shaylin Zubelis. Ariba Zubair. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Science, Geology. Wesley Patrick Barr. Joseph Mark Cloutier. Nok Nguyen. Daniela Maria Pietracalo. Candice Toner. Ramon Vimenta. Presenting the graduates of the Bachelor of Science, Health Science. Jocelyn Taylor Abb. Sophia Rose Alontave. Jimwell Desiree K. Balingtongyong. Jason Chan. Katrina Mi Dang. Christy Ann Dorbin. Taylor Leanne Evans. Isabella Jade Falcone. Mohammed Hamoud. Alexandra Geraldine Chalmers Haverin. Tyson Cade Joki. Elizabeth Catherine Klingenberg. Vinita Kumar. Rika Jessie Annette Lesa. Derek Kinhay Lowe. Gina Emily Lorida. Lauren Ann McCartney. Lauren Melnichuk. Kate Marie Nowakowski. Maruk Pasha. Brittany Morgan Pelzer. Kayla Mary Cameron Pino. And lastly, Catherine Marie Tucker. I'm afraid I'm going to ask you to do that again in about 10 seconds, but a lot louder. Because this concludes the graduates of the Faculty of Science and Technology at Mount Royal University. Can you please join me in congratulating all of the graduates from this faculty? Thank you very much.
Job well done all. At this point, on behalf of Mount Royal, it is my privilege to introduce your valedictorian, Ryan Cunningham. Ryan has the distinct honor of being in the first cohort of the Bachelor of Health and Physical Education, Physical Literacy. He was youth sports academic All-Canadian, coached for the Special Olympics, was a member of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. Ryan is this year's recipient of the Centennial Gold Medal, which commemorates a deep tradition of academic achievement and leadership at Mount Royal. Ryan, would you please come forward?
There's a lot of people here. Wow. All right, I have to get something off my chest before I start. I recently went to a music festival where after each performer ended, they got in front of the stage and usually had a picture taken. And I always really thought it was really narcissistic of those people to do that. But now standing in front of a crowd this size, I totally get it, so. All right, now let's get serious. Greetings to faculty, family, staff, students, and graduating class of 2018. I'm honored to be standing here in front of you all. Before I start my actual speech, I learned at Mount Royal in my Intro to Public Speaking class that you're way more likely to pay attention to a friend than a complete stranger. And since I'm probably a stranger to most of you here, I'm just gonna give you 3 random facts about myself. I transferred to Mount Royal after 2 years at Medicine Hat College. I like to crochet in my spare time, and I'm a slightly better than average salsa dancer. It's up to you to decide which of those are true and which ones I just made up right now. I would like to start by congratulating the graduating class of 2018. We are all slightly more hireable now. And to all the other students in attendance, don't worry, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Unfortunately, that light is the headlight of a freight train called adulting. I still don't know how mortgages work. When I was crafting this speech, I was challenged to think of a message that I wanted to bring that would be applicable to all the different cohorts crossing the stage today. And as an HPED student, I have to give a special shout out to the HPED cohort for being the first cohort to complete all 4 years at MRU. You could say, we are the best there are, the best there is, and the best there ever will be. Now, I apologize for how cheesy that joke was, but I couldn't pass up an opportunity to make a Bret the Hitman Hart reference in front of Bret the Hitman Hart. By the way, I got to sit next to Bret the Hitman Hart. My 10-year-old self is going crazy. I struggled to think of a message that would apply to everyone here today. And in classic student fashion, I procrastinated. And after the 11th hour of staring at my computer screen while watching Netflix simultaneously, I remembered something I learned in one of my favorite classes I took here, HPED 1040, Personal Health Community Action. This class focused on the various dimensions of health, also focusing on mindfulness and the idea of staying present. Prior to this class, I had never heard of the concepts of mindfulness, and my idea of being present was watching Netflix. I don't know how else to say that. I would find myself during lectures looking forward to what I had coming up in my life, whether that be a basketball game or a midterm, or looking back at what just happened in my life, like the midterm I just wrote, wondering if the answer to that question was A or B, A and B or C, all of the above, or pi. Now, as this phase of our journey ends, we look back at the good times, try to forget the bad times, and try to remember the forgotten times. Some of us are continuing our education with graduate school, some of us might be entering the workforce, and some of us, thanks to this degree signed by David Doherty, are going to go on to whatever we have next. Any of these scenarios can be scary. My message to you is to stay present, stay in the moment. No matter what happens, the future will always be uncertain and scary, but don't let that cloud your appreciation of what is happening to you here, right now. By all means, plan accordingly, but always remember to take time and soak in the moment. I have looked back to my time here at Mount Royal and wish that I could go back and appreciate some of these experiences more. I'm referring to David Legg's Wheelchair for a Day class, all the exercise physiology labs that low-key turned into competitions to see who was the most fit, the times when you're having a bad day and the daycare kids walk by all holding a skipping rope and it melts your heart. And of course, I'll miss all the lunches I had at the table. But more than that, I'll appreciate the time I spent with all the people here I met at Mount Royal. The people at Mount Royal that make this university the best university I've been to. which if you ask my parents, just adds to the phrase, third time's the charm. I will cherish the time I had with all of my peers, peers that I would have voted to be up here in my spot before I voted for myself. Those random classmates you met that turned into lab partners for life. Those teammates that turned into roommates that turned into lifelong friends. And the classmates that ignited a friendship over your shared hatred for the paper that you were writing. And of course, the professors. They remember your names after like third week. They call you out when you miss class, and some will frankly tell you to your face to own your shit. These are some of the biggest takeaways I take from my time here. Now, in my research of valedictorian speeches, most of them end with what I like to call the cliche section. It's at this point I'm supposed to say some meaningful quote like, shoot for the stars, and if you miss, you'll land in the moons. But that's too cheesy. If one thing was emphasized in my time here at Mount Royal, is that if you make any bold statements in anything you do, you have to find sources to back them up. The 30 library sessions I had will attest to that. So you best believe that I spent way more time than I should have finding both credible sources for inspiration as well as non-credible sources that I just find funny. Former Prime Minister of England, Winston Churchill, said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." The Lululemon shirt I bought last week said, "Wake up, be awesome, sweat hard, and have a beer." Former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt elegantly stated, "The purpose of life is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for newer and richer experience." Finally, former regional manager of Dunder Mifflin and founder of the Big Red Paper Company and Cornwell graduate Andy Bernard said, "I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days before you actually left them." I'm here to tell you, graduating class of 2018, these are our good old days. Take time, appreciate it, plan accordingly, work hard, and we will be successful. And we will come back for the 10-year reunion and all brag about how successful we have become. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ryan, and once again, congratulations on your outstanding achievements. As I mentioned earlier in the program, Elder McSeacom gifted to Mount Royal University an honor song. The song recognizes Mount Royal as a place where Indigenous knowledge and perspectives are embraced. And today, the honor song will be performed by the Sorrel Rider Singers. Now, this song is in honor of the graduates, so I would invite the graduates to remain seated for this and ask the audience to please stand as we listen to the Sorrel Rider Singers.
Hey!
Thank you very much, Sorrel Rider Singers. Now, if the audience will indulge me by remaining standing, and welcome back to the podium Dr. Leslie Brown, who will lead us all in the time-honored tassel toss.
Thank you, Madam Board Chair. As Susan has mentioned, before we conclude our ceremony today, we have one small assignment, a rite of passage, if you will. Graduates, your convocation regalia, your hood, your gown, your mortarboard is a time-honored symbol of graduation. And until you graduate, the tassel on your mortarboard is worn on the right side. And you will notice that those behind me are wearing theirs on the left. Graduates, will you please rise? As Provost and Vice President Academic of this fine institution, it is my great pleasure to congratulate you on your remarkable achievements and ask that you now move your tassel from the right to the left. Ladies and gentlemen, moms, dads, grandparents, families, I now present the graduating class of 2018. Congratulations.